The Projections of Miles, which has been debuted tonight at the Y Theatre. So with J. Phelps as the musical director, composer, and you've had some other people involved in arrangements as well.
Yes.
And it was a wonderful show.
Thank you.
They're going to have to take my word for it. How did it go for you?
I thought it went well. I thought it went great. You know, we got over the hump of the first show and were able to play the music, you know, the best that we could, and I thought it went down really well. It's great to share the stage with these guys.
And hopefully you could feel Leicester's love.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I could feel the vibe. It was really, really charged. It was lovely. Yeah. So my first question is like, why Miles Davis? Why did you go for that? And where does he fit in with your personal creative influences?
Well, Miles is such an inspiration for me anyway, as a trumpet player, as a conceptualist in some kind of way. And I just thought if I was going to pick someone to start off with, it would have to be someone who has a plethora of, who has had a plethora of a career and has done so much in his music throughout different decades of time. That's the whole thing, is being able to go through all the decades and play various different kinds of music, and I thought it would be very relative to today. And you know, I've never really seen too many bands who take a musician and make arrangements and not necessarily make it a tribute band or something where they play verbatim what is on the record or on one particular record. So we thought that we would span the whole career and see how we want to do it. And I thought that in a way, it was almost like the musician's point of view of how Miles has influenced us and how we bring it. That's why we're not playing songs like, you know, From the Kind of Blue album, or Obvious Choice. And
I think that's what came across a lot, because I was with a few people who we do know Miles Davis and most of his popular stuff and maybe some of his others, but there was tunes that we kind of thought, yeah, we know what they are, but we hardly recognise them because, like you say, the musician's perspective, you really took it and kind of mashed up the whole arrangement.
And made it something new, I hope.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So that's what we try to get across.
So you had did you have your pick of musicians, I'm guessing, because you ended up with some amazing...
Definitely.
Soweto King and Logan Richardson. Among others, you had Shane Forbes on drums, Bennett McLean on piano, and Tim Thornton on bass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you want to say, you know, what made you select these guys? Maybe starting with the ones that...
Well, I mean, with Logan and I have been in touch for the last few years, and I found out that he was living in Paris, which is not too far from us.
Was initially from America?
Yeah, he's been living in New York for a while. He's from Kansas City. He does talk as well. But, and I found out that he wasn't too far away, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be amazing to put a project together where we could, you know, span the countries even, and get some people from there, some people from there, different aspects. And I thought it would be great to have different aspects of the music. You know, everyone's got their own take on how to play this broad music of jazz. So Logan was an amazing player and musician and person, and it was amazing to actually get him to be a part of it. So he was definitely a first choice, and it's wonderful to play with him.
And Soweto, your
and
second choice.
Soweto. Well, Soweto's my first choice as well. You know, because I thought, well, Logan plays alto, Soweto plays alto as well, but I know that Soweto's been playing some tenor lately, and I thought, well, seeming as it's not his own project, which he leads all the time, he leads his own show all the time. We know Soweto Kinch, so I thought, well, let's change it up a little bit and put him on tenor saxophone. And
he rose to it.
And of course he rose to it. So, you know, it's great to have him. It's great to share the stage with him. It really is.
Lovely. Yeah. So you've got a lot of other projects. You've got your big band, your Jitter Jive projects, and they're all pretty well received as well. So the big
band no longer. Right. It's very hard to put together.
keep it
it going. So the big band's on hold
Logistics.
right now, logistically. But we'll see what happens. We might bring it out
Yeah.
sometime. I'm hoping to do something with dancers, maybe, with like a dance collective and my big band. I've written a big suite, like a 4-part movement suite, and hopefully we'll put some dancers with that. That's when the big band will
Because
come
I
back.
heard you're running 6 bands right now. That's what I heard.
I don't know, maybe. It's kind of like 6 different projects I sort of have on the go, and I'm, every now and then you can't do everything at the same time. But I try to keep things fresh in some kind of way. And the Jitter Jive thing is another outlet for me. I was a part of this TV program, Dancing on the Edge, and I thought, wouldn't it be an amazing thing? You saw that?
Yeah.
I thought, wouldn't it be an amazing thing to make that band live and put it on stage and actually play? So that's
all the costumes, be wonderful.
Yeah.
So we have a question from.
Yeah.
the audience.
Can we just ask Soweto and Logan why they got involved and how they got?
They can't talk.
They can't talk.
I'm joking.
And they're not allowed to look at him. They're eyes.
They're just here. No, please.
So I want to ask Soweto and Logan really what got you involved in the Miles, the Projections of Miles project. I mean, it seems quite obvious to me because it's a wonderful project. But when you were first asked, what kind of inspired you? Maybe start with Logan.
Well, I think anytime that you have the name Miles Davis involved in something that you're being approached about, you can always have a couple of different feelings in regards to it. I'm always willing to give it a chance, obviously, because sometimes you have instances in which the names of our masters are being bled for the sake of a personal agenda for individuals that simply don't have the currency to be able to create by themselves, so they tag themselves onto that name. Clearly, this isn't one of those situations. This is more of a situation in which we live in 2014. We have popular music that we hear day in and day out, but there's still a necessity to be able to bring the respect and the fresh perspective to music that once was the popular music, so that it continues to live with a revised perspective, but it still maintains its character in and out, and all of it is coming from a place of respect. So, for me, it's just being involved, trying to find a place to live inside of everybody's contribution. So
Lovely. Yeah, love that. Thanks. And Soweto.
Yeah, I'd second that. What he said. I think the first connection for me is that I guess the apocryphal stories I heard from reading your autobiography as well, that the musicians that played with Miles had something transformative happen to them while they were playing the music. You hear that Train and Cannonball made their best music, or felt that sometimes their freest improvising when playing with Miles. And to enter that space musically, I think, is something you approach with gravity and, as you said, respect, but also excitement. And the second thing that really excited me about this was the chance to take a fresh perspective, rather than just look at the canon, as you said, regurgitate stuff verbatim. Actually look at songs which don't get the credit, look at decades which don't get the credit, and that was an epiphany for me, because I got a mandla and tutu, in my teens, and I just didn't really connect with the drum programming, or for some reason I just wanted some historical version of Miles. And now, as somebody who's appropriated hip-hop more in my music, it's appropriated, this cross-pollinated way of looking at music, these albums are making a lot more sense to me, And this is, I thank the project for giving me that.
That's nice. Yeah, because I think when you are young and you listen to an artist, you can't always get everything they're doing, and it does take a few years to go back and listen again, because he spans so many different styles, didn't he?
It's true. I was just recently listening to this new record that came out live in '67, that Miles Davis Quintet, and it's something I've never heard before. Actually, I thought I'd heard everything, but it was a new thing that came out, and just with the ear maybe that I have now, which is different to say 10 years ago, I was listening to it with such a different perspective, hearing so much more out of the music, and it's just ever evolving. It really is ever evolving. So it's a beautiful part of the growth as a musician, and again an appreciation for these great musicians, these great people who've gone before us.
I think that totally came across. I think we could all feel that, and I know what you mean about that sort of tribute kind of museum piece, regurgitation band. I mean, there's a second band that's the other end of the spectrum, a second show that sometimes they use the name, like you were saying, they'll use the name, and then they'll just do what they want and just hang it off the name so that people will come. But that was nice. That was literally sort of hanging off the framework of Miles Davis, but doing something
I think any pretension
new.
to try and cover the full gamut of his music it's not going to work. I mean, Plug Nickel, the things we didn't even scratch the surface of. It's about us finding an emotional connection. I think that was a good way into it. You know, what is it about his music that's touched you at this particular point? And
there were different. You did an arrangement, a specific arrangement. You really hear your influence in the hip hop beats and stuff. And then Tim Thornton, your bass player, he did a special arrangement as well. So it was really nice. He was sharing the stage in that way. Yeah. So just before you get going on your long, arduous journey down the motorway, or up the motorway.
In the hurricanes.
In the hurricanes, in the floods. Just if there was anything else that you would like to say, really, and like sort of what's next for you, or I know you've got things happening with an album. I know you've got a jam session going on.
Yeah. Like well, I mean, I've been running the late show at the Hippodrome, Hippodrome Casino for the last 4 weeks now, and I used to be the host of the late set at Ronnie Scott's, and then we moved the night over to the Hippodrome, and it's happening. It's really fun.